Well guys, it's midweek. The last time I did a video was Friday. So the sun is just coming up. We are going into mid to high 90 heat. So let's get to harvesting and see what we have today and go from there. See what we got going on with the bean harvest. Okay, beans are beautiful. Okay, let's put a little container here. See what else we can find. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we've got a lot of hidden beans. So this actually might take me a little bit. Kind of skipping through this to see the obvious ones, and then I'll dig through. I did plant yellow beans too. I really like the yellow beans, so there'll be a mix in here. Oh, there's some more. Oops. You can see we're going to have a full one of these for sure today. Once I dig through all these plants. Oh, there's one way at the bottom here. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is start picking and move on. Really nice beans though. Okay, let's see how much we get. Okay guys, so I've moved over into the other bean patch on the other side here by the Swiss chard. And what I'm noticing here is I've picked these beans, geez, this must be my 4th round. And look at the flowers that I'm starting to get back again. So these beans are really kicking it into high gear all of a sudden. And I thought I thought maybe they'd be winding down because I picked them so many times, but I'm seeing a lot of new beans here on these plants. So this is going to be another good crop soon. I'm really surprised. I'm still getting really good sized beans off of it too. And these are Brussels sprouts I have just above planted with the beans. And what I've been doing, I'm not sure if anybody knows, but just in case you're ever wondering, if you actually snip the branches off, these were where all the branches were, your Brussels sprouts will actually accelerate in growing. They actually grow quite a bit faster because they don't have to actually concentrate on trying to actually get the leaf portion to obviously mature. So basically all I do is I continue to snip from the bottom, snip the bottom leaves all the way up, basically until you get almost like just the top leaves, and then that's it. And it works like a charm. Might want to try it if you're growing Brussels sprouts. It actually helps them accelerate faster. I've had a lot of good success with that. Right now I'm just amazed at the beans and how many more flowers I have on here. I've got more beans developing than really I'm picking. Let's see. All these are new. This guy's ready to go. Oops. Ooh. Oh yeah. Look at the size of these beans. Well, I guess I know what I'm having with dinner this evening. Sometimes your garden actually just predicts what you're going to be making for dinner. So when we add this to our little container here, this is what I have so far. Let me get out of the sun so you can see. This is what I have so far out of the bean patch. And I'm not done, but I'm not going to take you through the whole bean patch because that would be a snore session. So I'll finish picking these and then move on to the next one. So guys, my broccoli is ready to go. This is a broccolini, so you're not going to get the full sized broccoli heads like you normally would. This broccoli, when you clip it, is designed to just keep giving you side shoots like this. And basically all we do with this size broccoli is we saute it or we steam it. And it's really super sweet. It's a really, really great broccoli. So it's actually got quite a bit of little broccoli heads on it. So we are going to be definitely taking some of that today. It's actually holding up pretty well in the heat. I can see a little bit of flowering is starting here, but these have been growing since the end of March, and we've been harvesting since the end of, the end of May, basically. We started harvesting the end of May. So that's pretty good. So we're just gonna harvest some of these and add it to the collection of the harvest for the day. I'm just gonna snip it, add it into the bin. Thinking beans and broccoli maybe for dinner. Let's see. And then we'll move on to the next plant. Here we are back at the pepper bed. Oh my goodness. I've already taken, I can't tell you how many Hungarian hot wax peppers off of these plants here in the front. And they're already starting to reproduce just more. It's just more and more and more and more. You take a look here. I just did a cutting of these particular plants maybe about a week and a half ago, and I'm already getting so much more peppers. So I'm going to do another cut of these and take off some of these peppers and just make hot pickled peppers because we just have so many. Let's pull one off here. Oops, there we go. There's oh yeah, there's a ton back here. And these ones have a bite. Do not eat Hungarian hot wax. If you don't like hot peppers, these ones have such a bite. Oop, where'd he go? Here it is. Okay, so we'll just keep harvesting some of these and we'll move on to the next one. We are still in the pepper bed. Let's see what else we can pull out of here. Some of these are so big, they're gonna have to just sit in my windowsill, I think. Let's see. Very nice peppers. Okay, let's go on. Let's see. Wow. I could be here all day cutting peppers, so we've got some pretty good peppers going here. Just gonna harvest little bits, put them in the windowsill, and then move on to the next. But pretty good pepper haul. I mean, these are pretty big. You guys are gonna laugh at me because what happens is I go around and I harvest the outside boxes, but sometimes, besides the zucchinis, I actually forget to come to this box, which is always full of beans, and it's my own fault because I get so focused on the other beds that I forget about this one because it's the youngest of them all. The beets here, as you can see too in this bed, are actually starting to just put on a good size. But this bed is actually loaded with beans. More beans. So I guess I'll be canning some beans. Look at the size of these. This is crazy from the heat. Jeez, they're all the way down in here. Look at the ones laying down. These beans are actually so heavy, they're weighing the plant down. Wow. We won't have a small crop of beans, that's for sure. I mean, guys, we could eat beans for days here. And these beans are a 55-day bean, but, and I thought maybe they were gonna take a little longer just because of the heat, but it's actually accelerated the growing. I mean, I won't take you through the whole bed because like I said, it's a little bit boring harvesting beans, but I just wanted to show you that I just have this bed that I seem to always forget when I'm looking for stuff. Look at this. And around the rest of this bed, I've planted, these are cayennes on the end here. These ones are what's called an Ico pepper, so these are going to be multicolored peppers. They're really kind of a cool looking pepper when you see them mature. They're red and yellow and purple, sometimes even orange, and they're colors that are sort of all mixed on the same pepper. So I thought I'd grow some of those just for interest. These ones here, these three, are a black bell pepper, a pitch black bell pepper that I thought I'd grow for interest. Just want to see how they taste. They're supposed to be a sweet pepper. And then around the corner here, these guys have taken off like crazy. These guys here, these three, are Mexican chilies. So it'll be interesting to see how they grow in here, but I only transplanted these last week and they're already getting super tall. So I'm gonna finish harvesting all the beans I forgot, and then we'll move on to the next plant. There we go, guys. This is just a really quick, just showing you really quickly sort of so far what I've ended up with. Now, I've actually run out of space in this little bowl, so I have to grab another little bowl later and just sort of collect the rest of the beans, but this is the once over. It's basically giving me a full bowl of beans. So I'm probably gonna can these later because we are just sort of run over with beans, but I just wanted to show you really quickly. While I was harvesting the peas a few weeks back, what I did was I actually saved some of the pods here and just laid it quickly on a table. I haven't even taken them out of the pods, but as you can see, they've all gone brown. Some of them are still drying, but the heat gets so intense in here that if anyone's looking to save seed and they end up getting a greenhouse or a high tunnel, sometimes if you lay your pods actually out just on a table the way they are, your seed will dry in the pod. So these are actually ready to save. They're hard as a rock. You can't squish it, it's hard as a rock. They are ready to basically just put away now, and then what I can do is I can just basically plant for next year. Whoop, there we go, there it is. And that's how you do it, guys. You don't always have to purchase your seed. If you just give yourself a couple of weeks and some pods, even if just a couple of pea pods here and there, it's a way to save money where you don't actually have to keep paying for your seed. Okay guys, so I decided to sort of stop in at the zucchini bed. I felt guilty for not taking some of these because they are getting extremely large in the bed. Just twist it off here, and this is how large this guy is. I mean, this guy's huge. The zucchinis are really putting on a lot of fruit this year. I don't know if it's the heat or what it is, but big, beautiful fruit. Let's see. We have this little guy. And by accident, I somehow planted pumpkin in here. We just take a quick peek down here at the side of the bed. I've planted pumpkin. So at some point I'm going to obviously just take out the zucchini when it's finally done and just sort of let the pumpkin take over back here. That was by accident, but I don't have the heart to take it out. So we're gonna leave that grow. Let's go over to this side. Oh, another big one. Check that out. Amazing. And there's actually some more in here, I think, that I can... Oh yeah, I've got a third one, fourth, fifth, sixth. So I've got about 6 zucchinis in here, but they're almost pretty much all the same size. So we'll harvest those, and then we'll move on to the next plant. We're just in the next bed over where the strawberries are, and I can see that some of them are actually developing here. So we've already sort of swept through the strawberries, maybe about 3 or 4 times already, but somebody was asking me what this is here in the bed, and this is okra. So I've harvested okra maybe, I'm gonna say 3 or 4 times. Kind of looks sort of dwarf because I planted it late, but it definitely is still putting on the fruit. I've got about 3 or 4 plants here that I've already harvested from. As a matter of fact, this guy here is giving me 2 more okra. So they're not very tall in terms of, you know, what you're used to when you see okra, but they're actually giving me about 4 to 5 little pods on them in the beds right now. See, I've already been eating the okra. So yep, growing okra in zone 3 is possible, and these are very sweet and really good. So yeah, give it a try. And last but not least, here we are back at the tomatoes. So I think maybe Friday, I said we should be picking tomatoes this week, but what's happened is we've hit this heat wave in the mid-90s, and as much as tomatoes really like the heat, what you'll find is you'll have these perfect sized tomatoes that look like they're ready to go in terms of size, but when the heat hits over mid-90s, the way that we've been experiencing it, because we're in one of the worst heat waves we've experienced ever, it will actually stop ripening. It will sit on the vine, it will have this sort of, you know, whitish green sort of look to it. And until the temperatures actually cool back down, your tomato plants will not ripen. So some ways to circumvent that would be, you could take it in and sit them in a box and let them sit with a banana or anything that, you know, gives it something to help it ripen. Or you could stress it out by cutting off some of its leaves, pinching off the new flowers, which I really don't want to do because some of them are already developing new tomatoes. Or you can simply let it sit and basically just wait until the temperatures come back down. Now I have, you know, a ton of tomatoes in here that are perfect. They don't have any damage. As a matter of fact, some of these on the bottom are still developing, but they have this whitish green color to them. So just something to be on the lookout for. It doesn't mean that you haven't done everything you can correctly. It just means that when it's hot like this, they will actually stop their ripening process until things cool off. So I guess until then, either take them in or we wait. But really big, beautiful tomatoes. I'm really happy with the size. There's no blossom end rot on these. And they pretty much take up my hand. So we'll give them a few more days and see what happens. We're in this heat wave until probably the beginning of next week. So I'm going to give them a few more days on the vine and see how they do, and go from there and make a decision. So outside, everything is really developing nicely. We've got some purple beans. I just wanted to try that for fun, that are now starting to put on their flowers. The tomatoes themselves are also starting to show that they're trying to put on some flowers in all this heat. Did I tell you that I overplanted my beans? In the next bed, I'm just growing zucchini in a bag here to see if that'll actually work. It seems to be doing okay. I had to give it a little fertilizer yesterday because, you know, inside this this particular dirt here, it just really doesn't have any nutrients. It's just potting soil. So I added some stuff to see if I could get this to grow in the bag because I had no more space out here. But in this bed here, we've got green beans, we've got onions, and here we'll be harvesting some more lettuce. This is sort of just a red oak lettuce, really nice. One subscriber asked me what this is. This is a Peruvian mint. No, it is not marijuana. It's a Peruvian mint. And the only way, it's called black Peruvian mint, and the only way that I can describe the taste of this mint is, if you remember back in the day when Hubba Bubba had those big chunks of bubble gum, which were my favorite. This mint actually took me by surprise, because when you pop it into your mouth, it tastes exactly like opening up one of those big Hubba Bubba pieces of gum. It's awesome. And so I'll be growing that again and saving the leaves from this. It's really cool. So it's Peruvian mint. Give it a try. See what you think. I'm sure you'll agree it's going to be just like the Hubba Bubba. It's awesome. And I've got some here. Oh, got lots of weeds. But here I'm growing a red romaine. I wanted to try something different. So we got red romaine. I've got some tomatoes in this bed. We've got a ton of Swiss chard coming up. And yes, I've jammed it all together because in a raised bed, you're going to want to try and break all the rules and get as much food out of a bed as you possibly can. I believe that there are certain rules that you have to follow with plants, but break all the rules when you're growing in a raised bed. See what you can get away with. My carrots have all started to come up nicely. Red cherry tomatoes, super happy out here. Beautiful and healthy. I've made a blueberry bed over here. So in this plant, there's nothing but, you know, just common blueberries, just the type that you'd see if you were walking the woods and pick blueberries. They're not going to get very big. They're just going to stay dwarf. And I've thrown some pepper plants in there because I needed some extra space. And that's not even getting to the back greenhouse yet. I just don't want to make the video too long. And last but not least, the potato bed. These are just regular potatoes, regular white potatoes that you make for French fries. Surprisingly, they're holding up to the heat really, really, really well. I haven't seen any problems. What I really like about this so far is, even being outside, I don't have one potato beetle. My leaves have no damage in them, which I'm really surprised. I don't know if it's, you know, the weather this year or whatever it is, but no damage. Just big, beautiful potatoes outside. So that's it so far for the harvest today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you like, click the subscribe button. Leave me a comment at the bottom. I always reply. See you soon.